Now, Milind, talking about Rajasthan's strategy on field yesterday, Dravid's strategy of probably playing Faulkner ahead of Shane Watson and Stuart Binney really helped in their game last time. Like, I think we were talking to you the last time around when the game happened. It really worked, it really fired for them. But exactly the thing that we were scared of happened yesterday. So, what do you think were the strategic errors that Dravid probably performed yesterday?
In my personal view, nobody to challenge Rahul Dravid. He's a fantastic cricketer, a great cricketer, good captain, having led Rajasthan Royals extremely well this season. The point I want to make is that in a big game like this against Mumbai Indians, where pressures are very, very high, it's not the same as in earlier games probably when they were playing lesser teams. But when you play against the Mumbai Indians in front of a packed crowd, you need to send your best players to first get into the batting zone. And that's what they didn't do. I, for one, was very surprised that some lesser players came in and batted ahead of the better players. For example, that strategy worked earlier in the earlier game when he sent the better players later so that the new ball wouldn't affect them. But on a one-kid seaming track, if you have somebody like a Faulkner coming into bat at number 3, I got an impression that Faulkner was an absolute tail ender. I mean, he didn't know, his foot wasn't moving forward. All that he got was edges. So Shane Watson should have come in at number 3, and then after that, Brad Hodge should have come in. If you looked at Brad Hodge's position, he came into bat at number 8. After all, they fell short of only 14 runs. Yagnik came in his place. Yagnik played 14 balls for 10 runs. And I'm sure that if Brad Hodge were given those 7 balls to play, perhaps they could have won. Lots of ifs and buts. Also, I was a bit surprised that they fielded first, because Rajasthan Royals is known to also bat well, even though they've chased later. The fact remains that on a one-kid pitch or any pitch where you play, the ball tends to come slower off the pitch later. Then spin bowling to start with the brand new ball, with a lot of seam bowlers in their team. I think lots of things went wrong last evening for Rajasthan Royals, but all said and done, they've done well. Like I said day before yesterday, my heart goes out for Rajasthan Royals, but it's the Mumbai Indians who have the head to play this tournament.
I don't know what is it about them that it's usually the case with pretty much everyone that I'm seeing around. They really like watching Rajasthan Royals. Valish from Manipal, your perspective on Rahul Dravid's strategy on field yesterday. Do you think he made an error by not sending Watson in a little earlier on the lineup?
Very, very good morning to you on this wonderful sunny day. And
good morning to you.
Mr. Rege, the very best to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Princess, listen. What went wrong was said totally by Mr. Rege, and there's no contest on what he said, because that's exactly what we wanted to say. So, you see, the strategic mistakes made by Rahul Dravid ended in a loss for his side. Alexander the Macedonian did not sit and make tactical blunders. What he did was he plotted a strategy in the 10, and I feel Rahul Dravid should have batted first. I agree with Mr. Regan that there's no contest to whatever he has said, and he has said it succinctly and put it in proper perspective. Case ended. Anything further? Tell me.
Valish, do you think when you send in Dravid, actually, Milind, I'd like to ask you this. When Dravid and Rahane go into bat first, wouldn't you rather have maybe a Watson promoted even higher up the order so that he gives the team that impetus? Because Rahane and Dravid pretty much have the same batting style, and in a game like this where you need to score big runs, maybe Watson playing a little higher up the order could help.
I quite agree with the fact that Rahane and Dravid have been opening the innings throughout, because they are wonderful players. They play very straight, they're technically sound, and the seaming ball, the new white ball, swings a lot. So what better than this combination? So there's no question about either of them not opening, because they've done well in the past. I would, for one, think that Shane Watson should have come at least at number 4, if not at 3, because in a pressure game like this, like I said earlier, all these Sanju Simons and the Yagniks are just not fit to play. I mean, I got the impression that Yagnik was absolute, he was a slugger over there, he had to do against Baji. And also Faulkner. Faulkner never gave me an impression of being a batsman, leave alone a pinch hitter. Pinch hitters, I know that a pinch hitter is a slugger, but there's a way of doing it. When Yusuf Pathan used to be called a pinch hitter, he played fairly straight down the line. But these are the blunders that they created. And Brad Hodge, who's known to be a damn good, a fantastic T20 player, coming in at number 8 was, I think, a bit difficult to comprehend.
All right, Dhiman from Hyderabad, I'll throw this question across to you. One does understand probably why Dravid could have played Faulkner a little higher up the order, like how he probably wanted the same impression as one got from Rajasthan Royals in the last game that they played. That strategy absolutely worked for them. But what do you have to say about Yagnik being promoted above Brad Hodge?
Well, good morning to you and Mr. Rege. I personally think, yes, promoting Yagnik yesterday was definitely a mistake. Hodge has been known as a better finisher, and he could have done much, much better had he got those 14 balls. And I'm sure if Hodge had got those 14 balls, Rajasthan would have won. However, I also would like to say that the Rajasthan Royals team just has one big power player, and that's not Hodge, that's Watson. And,
yes, so is there an over-dependence on him?
Sorry?
Is there an over-dependence on Watson?
Yes, I believe so. I honestly believe that, yes, Rajasthan Royals are over-dependent on him, and that is the reason why Rahul Dravid is coming up with these ideas to protect him. For example, sending Sanju Samson and James Faulkner. I heard the commentator use the term sending lambs to slaughterhouse against Chennai Super Kings when those two were sent, and they basically failed for zeros. But the idea was to ensure that somehow Watson is protected from the new ball. Maybe Rahul Dravid...
Dhiman, drawing from that analogy, sorry to cut you there, but drawing from that analogy, one would probably think the slaughterhouse is in the form of a Mitchell Johnson. So do you think maybe he didn't want Watson to face him?
Exactly. So I'm saying, though the Wankhede pitch was not what the Jaipur pitch was like in terms of pace and bounce, I think Dravid still maintained the same idea that, okay, we will protect Watson and let him attack the spinners. Because if you realize, Watson smashed the spinners all across the park. What he did to Ashwin in the last match was phenomenal, and I think that's what changed the match. Similarly, I think Dravid is planning the strategy. However, what is happening is, if at all, after protecting Watson for whatever 10 balls, 20 balls or 30 balls, if he fails, then they don't have anybody. Because even Rahanes and Dravids and Brad Hodges, these are people who score at 7 and over, 8 and over. But when it comes to 9 and 10 and 12 and over, which is typical of an IPL match, you need Watson to stay. So now in case Watson fails, they have to have somebody who's powerful enough to score at 12. 10 and over, and that's one place where I see them missing.
You want to say something about that?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. Watson is an international player. You don't keep great international players down the order, and especially in games which are very high-pressure games. The other games are not as high pressure as the one against Mumbai. Mumbai is probably the best team, one of the two top teams, and they're going to get after you. I would think that the more balls an international player, a better player gets, it's going to be good for them, because keeping somebody down the order because he'll get out, etc. What better ploy could be there rather than sending your best player to play Johnson or to play Malinga, because he is your best player? I for one think that strategies should be devised according to the games that are being played and not run away from them. I thought yesterday the Rajasthan Royals ran away from their responsibility of sending their best players at a higher number. And actually sending slightly ordinary players up to play Johnson and Malinga, and Harbhajan Singh is not an easy bowler to get after. He's a very wily bowler. So I think sending Yagnik, Samson, and all these guys ahead of the international players was I think the cause of yesterday's downfall. After all, if you look at the margin of defeat, it was only 14 runs. If you look at Brad Hodge, he didn't get to play as many balls. And how on earth can you send Brad Hodge at number 8 when he's supposed to be one of the finishers in the game? All of them need to get more runs, better opportunities, and hopefully what will happen is in the knockout stage, this will be rectified.
All right. Well, in a lineup where you have bowlers of the caliber of a Mitchell Johnson, Malinga, and Harbhajan, and many more, how do you really escape them? And so, why not send your best players up the lineup? Oh, there is so much more to talk about. Dimant from Hyderabad, thanks a lot for joining us on the phone line. Vilesh from Manipal, thanks a lot for joining us on the phone line. We will discuss a lot more about this and a lot more on Dial C for Cricket. Milind Rege stays on with us, but after this short little commercial break. Stay tuned.